CHKV.
Hi, my name is Joanne James.
I'm Stephanie Johnston.
So my name is Aaron Webb.
My name is Christian Riviera.
My name is Brent Picaris.
Stasa Barukas.
My name is Chow Fan.
And I'm one of the obstetricians gynecologists.
I'm an obstetrician gynecologist.
I'm an emergency physician at Health Science Center in Winnipeg.
I'm a pediatric intensive care physician.
I'm the co-director for CHKV. I'm also an emergency physician at the Health Sciences Center.
My name is Christian Riviera, and I've been part of CHKV since 2011. I first joined when Chow gave me a phone call. It was probably in the fall, asking, do you want to go on a medical mission to Vietnam? My answer was, yeah, sounds good. Just tell me when we're ready to go. And I essentially was hung up on her at the time, and she was like, but I want to explain. And I was, no, it's all good. I'm ready to go. Click. And that's how I started with CHKV.
This trip for me was my third trip back. I could see some differences going back on my third trip. So first of all, they have a beautiful new hospital, and there's a lot more high-tech stuff within that hospital. It was neat seeing pediatrics, the ICU, move from where they were before to a new place in the hospital, and I was very, very excited about seeing ventilators for children. They had about 8 in a storage area, so I was very excited about that. My previous trips, they had maybe 3 ventilators that really wouldn't be able to do the job that sick children would require. So I have to thank the charity and anyone else who's been able to help fundraise for the hospital, because I think that was definitely very helpful to the hospital there in An Giang.
When we first arrived in Vietnam during the first couple of days of the symposium, we were teaching a lot of point-of-care ultrasound to the group there. Initially, I was quite concerned that we weren't able to get our message across, make sure that there was good knowledge translation and pick up of the skills that we were trying to teach them. On about the 3rd or 4th day, I was able to join some of the keener learners down in the emergency department, and we were able to do some scans, and I was actually quite blown away by how advanced they already were with their training and how appropriate the questions they were asking and how quickly they picked up the skills. So I asked them if they had any previous ultrasound experience, to which they said, yes, we learned about the symposium over the last few days. So the pickup was a lot better than I anticipated.
There's one scenario we did that we all had a good laugh out of, is that we were running a postpartum hemorrhage simulation with the team, and things were going well and they were doing their part, but we were trying to interact with the other teams that were developing their skill sets. So we actually made our lady stop having a heartbeat and have to call a code. And seeing the team there have to call a code, start doing CPR, and kind of caught them off guard, and they were like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? And they kind of figured it out and got going, and then called a code, and the code team, which was training on the other side of the auditorium, came over, and they weren't expecting it. And so like, oh my gosh, I have to run a code, and seeing them run across the auditorium and start doing what they had been practicing, it was just like a real highlight and a lot of fun for us as like the coordinators, but also watching them start to integrate all the pieces of information that they had been learning throughout the week. There were some hiccups, but you don't learn without the hiccups. So it was great learning opportunities, and then when we did it to them again at the Mega Code, they were flawless. It was beautiful.
Hi, CHKV. My name is Brent Picaris, and just want to say thank you so much. I feel very blessed and fortunate to have had the opportunity to be a part of the medical mission for the 3rd time, spring of 2019. Super rewarding experience where I got to really see once again what CHKV, where the money goes to supporting families, supporting children through biking ceremony, as well as just really having the opportunity to impact patient care through education and training at the local hospital. Each trip or each mission, typically anywhere from 50 to 100 bikes, are distributed to children that are really should be honored for what they are doing. They're high grades in school, and just providing them with that opportunity to still seek out education when maybe those opportunities wouldn't be there if they didn't have the means to get to school.
What did it feel like to be part of the biking on a child's future ceremony? So that was the first time I ever attended anything like that, and I felt that was really interesting and an eye-opening experience. From what I could understand was that a lot of the kids have trouble getting to education and getting to school, and having a bike or a bicycle helps them to get to that destination. It is really rewarding that we can help support them in their achievement to want to get to school. And that was really interesting and made me think of all the little things that we have that we take for advantage that other people don't have. And so it's a very humbling experience.
Again, this is like my third time going through that experience, and every time it's just actually fascinating to go into the hall, which is this big gymnasium with open doors on the side. There's no air conditioning, it's 30 degrees, humidity is up there.
Yeah.
And the room is packed with students all in their uniforms. You got the teachers, you got the parents, they're all standing on the side. And I'm not sure exactly how many people were in that room, but at least, we gave away 100 bicycles, so at least 100 kids. But I would say at least 3 or 4 times the amount of other people standing around inside and outside. This time around it was interesting because they decided, the teachers put on a little show with, I guess they're showcasing the different countries around the area. So they all were dressed up in traditional clothing of the different countries. So obviously in Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, and they had these little kind of dance. And you could see that they didn't take themselves very seriously. It was really kind of tongue-in-cheek, and it was a riot just to watch them do that. If I would have absolutely no courage to go up there and do exactly what they did.
Out of all the missions that I have led, looking back, I think this last mission was extremely meaningful for me because going not just as the director of CHKV, but also as a mom and a physician, that we got to bring back our 3 boys, and they're 5, 4, and 1. I'm sure the 1-year-old won't have much recollection, but the 5-year-old and the 4-year-old will, because your memory starts to form at the age of 4 or 5. And what was meaningful for me was being able to have my boys there with us, watch what Christian and I did along with all of our peers, and so that they can actually see what is the true meaning of giving to other people, and having them physically take some of the toys and some of the supplies to give to the children in the pediatric ward, and then having them follow us to see the families that we sponsor out in the rural, remote areas of Vietnam, where they got to actually see a grandmother and a granddaughter who lived in this little shack. And I made a moment to actually stop and tell Gabriel, remember this moment and remember how your life is so wonderful in Canada because you have food, you're warm when it's winter outside, and you've got clothing on you, you can go to school and learn how to read and write. And I said, you're here now because Mommy and Papa are here with all the other doctors to be able to help the poor children of Vietnam through a family sponsorship program so that they can have a better future, just like you, and that they can have an education. And I said, how meaningful is that for you to be able to see that? And I hope he remembers that. I think our boys took in a lot more than we give them credit for, but I think that was probably one of the most meaningful moments for me for this medical mission.
I'm going to say that although the medical piece is very interesting and important for the doctors and nurses and all the midwives that were there for our obstetrics and gynecology portion, I will say that the home visits that we did, visiting people who are underprivileged and who need support and help, that was really an eye-opening experience to see how they live, where they live, and what they go through daily to help support their child to go to school. One home visit we did where there was a grandmother who had to sell candles to help support their granddaughter to go to school was very emotional, and we feel like we wanted to give them everything we could so that they could just support their one child, and that was a really humbling experience as well, and that was very close to home for me.
Love goes a long way. If it wasn't for the unconditional love of Canadians, of my adopted mom, of my sponsors from Altona, who accepted me to come to Canada as a refugee boat child from Vietnam, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be in my home asking questions that you asked me. I wouldn't have the education to become a physician, to be able to go back and lead medical missions, and to give of myself and of my service, and to be able to sow the seed that was sowed so many years ago into a child who didn't have anything and who didn't have the right health and who didn't have parents. But now I recognize that because of the generosity of Canadians. I have what it takes to be able to give back. And the biggest take-home message for me is that the key to happiness is in giving to others.
Time the team goes back, we build on previous relationships, we build on previous knowledge, and the reception seems to be better and the uptake seems to be better for each subsequent mission we've been on.
We have to continue to do what we do to be able to go back, and whether it's in a large capacity or in a small capacity, go back and continue to teach. We don't have the necessary resources to buy ventilators and incubators, but we can give of ourselves in terms of our knowledge and our skills. And if that can go a long way, we will continue to do that for as long as we can.